Hello again. We're back, and just left off with the last section promising that I would read the Declaration of Utrecht, which was the instrument where the bishops who essentially split off from Rome over the issues at Vatican I announced their union together. Thus it reads, and it is submitted by the Archbishop of Utrecht, the Bishop of Haarlem, Bishop of Deventer, Bishop of the Old Catholic Church of Germany, and a Bishop of the Old Catholic Church of Switzerland. Again, this was handed down the 24th day of September, 1889. And it reads, being assembled for a conference in response to an invitation from the undersigned Archbishop of Utrecht, we have resolved henceforth to meet from time to time for consultations on subjects of common interest in conjunction with our assistants, counselors, and theologians. We deem it appropriate at this our first meeting to summarize in a common declaration the ecclesiastical principles on which we have hitherto exercised and will continue to exercise our episcopal ministry, in which we have repeatedly had occasion to state in individual declarations. Number 1. We adhere to the principle of the ancient church laid down by St. Vincent of Lerins in these terms. Id tenemus quod ubique quod semper quod ab omnibus creditum est, hoc est intenim vere propierque catholicum, which means, therefore we abide by the faith of the ancient church as it was formulated in the ecumenical symbols and in the universally accepted dogmatic decisions of the ecumenical synods held in the undivided church of the first millennium. Number 2. We therefore reject as contradicting the faith of the ancient church and destroying her constitution the Vatican decrees promulgated July 18, 1870, concerning the infallibility and the universal episcopate or ecclesiastical plenitude of the power of the Roman Pope. This, however, does not prevent us from acknowledging the historic primacy which several ecumenical councils and the fathers of the ancient church, with the assent of the whole church, have attributed to the Bishop of Rome by recognizing him as the primus inter pares. That means first among equals. Number 3. We also reject the dogma of the Immaculate Conception promulgated by Pope Pius IX in 1854, as without being foundation in Holy Scriptures and in the tradition of the first centuries. As for other dogmatic decrees issued by the bishops of Rome in the last centuries, the bulls Unientius and Auctorum Fidei, the syllabus of 1864, etc., we reject them all on such points as are in contradiction with the doctrine of the ancient church, and do not recognize them as binding. Moreover, we renew all those protests with the ancient Catholic Church of Holland has made against the Rome in the past. Number 5. We refuse to accept the decisions of the Council of Trent in matters of discipline, and we accept its dogmatic decisions only insofar as they agree with the teaching of the ancient church. Number 6. Concerning that the Holy Eucharist has always been the true focal point of worship in the Catholic Church, we consider it our duty to declare that we maintain in all faithfulness and without deviation the ancient Catholic doctrine concerning the Holy Sacrament of the altar, by believing that we receive the body and blood of our Savior Jesus Christ himself under the species of bread and wine. The Eucharistic celebration in the Church is neither a continual repetition nor a renewal of the expiatory sacrifice in which Christ offered once and for all on the cross. The sacrificial character of the Eucharist, however, consists in its being the perpetual commemoration of that sacrifice and a real representation, being enacted on earth, of the one offering which Christ, according to Hebrews 9, verses 11 and 12, continuously makes in heaven for the salvation of redeemed humanity, by appearing now for us in the presence of God. Hebrews 9, verse 24. This being the character of the Eucharist in relation to Christ's sacrifice, it is at the same time a sacrificial meal, by means of which the faithful, in receiving the body and blood of the Lord, have communion with one another. 1 Corinthians 10, verse 17. Number 7. We hope that the theologians, while maintaining the faith of the undivided church, will succeed in their efforts to establish an agreement on the differences that have arisen since the divisions of the church. We urge the priests under our jurisdiction, in the first place, to stress both by preaching and by religious instruction the essential Christian truths professed in common by all the divided confessions, carefully to avoid, in discussing still existing differences, any violation of truth or charity, and in word and deed set an example to the members of our parishes of how to act towards people of a different belief in a way that is in accordance with the Spirit of Jesus Christ, who is the Savior of us all. Number 8. We believe that it is in faithfully maintaining the teaching of Jesus Christ, while rejecting all of the errors that have been added to it through human sin, as well as rejecting all the abuses in ecclesiastical matters and hierarchical tendencies, that we shall best counteract unbelief and that religious indifference, which is the worst evil of our day. Given at Utrecht, the 24th of September, 1889, Bishops Johannes Heekamp, Caspus Johannes Rinkel, Cornelius Diependal, Joseph Hubert Reinkens, Edward Herzog. So, that is the Declaration of Utrecht. It is a declaration that the bishops of the Old Catholic Church of the Americas, of which I am a part, adhere. And we adhere to them assiduously. I suppose that is what binds us, or perhaps that is our claim to our heritage from Europe as Old Catholics in the United States. What I'd like to do in the next segment, now that we've read the Declaration, is I want to teach you how the church from Europe made it to the United States. Next time.